Hey there everybody, my name is Kat Bowser. I'm your resident fantasy therapist and welcome back to my channel. Those of you here for the first time, welcome. My name is Kat Bowser. I'm a licensed therapist. I'm also a writer working on my first two novels, one a standalone, one the start of a series. And on my channel I like to talk about what I consider to be the heart of all writing. That's the characters. And the heart of the characters is their psychology. So that's the angle I like to take with pretty much everything I talk about on my channel. Hey guys, so I have another book review for you today. I received an ARC of Marion Blackwood's next novel in her Oncoming Storm series, A Storm of Glass and Stars. So those of you who have never seen my book reviews before, I typically divide them into, I give you guys the summary from the book, then I give you what I liked, what I thought needed work, and what I thought was unique about the story. And then I end it with what I call a psychological realism scale, which is where I talk about any topics in the book that are the psychological in nature. It could be mental illness, it could be recovery, it could be just characterization in general, and I give it a ranking from 1 to 5. 5 I reserve strictly for either true stories or stories heavily inspired by true stories. Otherwise, fictional stories, I usually leave it at a 4 is the highest I will give. So that is basically how I do reviews. I always love looking for new stories to read. I have done, I think, 3 in the last month that you guys will be seeing popping up. But if you guys have one that you think I would find particularly interesting, as always, feel free to let me know. I will check it out. I can't guarantee I will always read it, but I will definitely check it out and see if it's something that I'd be interested in and giving you guys a review on it. So that being said, let's just jump right into it with the summary. As always with all my book reviews, non-spoiler. I won't be giving you guys any information that you can't get off the back of the book. So, A Storm of Glass and Stars. Having lost her purpose in life, the oncoming storm leaves behind everything and everyone she has ever known and takes off across the continent. But there is one thing from which she can't run: trouble. When Shade and Elrond track her down, she manages to get them all captured by the Star Elves. During their stay in the Star Elves' capital, the oncoming storm must navigate a world far outside her comfort zone, court life. With no frame of reference to go by, she desperately scrambles to keep up appearances while also trying to find a way out. But nothing is quite as straightforward as it first seems. When secrets about herself and the world around her are revealed, she is forced to question whether the Star Elves really are the bad guys. It might actually be someone else entirely, namely the oncoming storm herself. Can she figure out the truth before she gets her friends killed, or will she lose herself in the darkness first? So, things I really liked about this book. I really think the plot in this one is really interesting, because anytime you put a character outside their comfort zone, it is key for awesome character interactions, and it does not fail here. As we know from previous books, Storm is an underworlder. She is not what they call an upper worlder or, a noble class or anything. So seeing her have to navigate that kind of stuff is really entertaining, but it also really gives you a glimpse into how she thinks about others and how she thinks about herself, which I really enjoy. As always, the characters are awesome. I think there is not a character in these books so far that I've found that I dislike, unless it is a character I am deliberately supposed to dislike. They all have very good motivations. They all have actions and behaviors that make sense. And I really enjoy that the characterizations stay consistent. Like, even as the characters go through their character development, whatever development they go through stays consistent. And I think especially in a series, sometimes it's hard to do, but she does it really well here. What are things I thought needed work? I'd say some of the Star Elves, I could have used a little more info on them, but I also kind of know why she didn't do that. I can't tell you guys why, because this is non-spoiler, but I do see why she didn't give as much info. I think there could have been a little more on like some of the main characters, but I think that's also just me wanting to know more about all these characters. And since it is a series, I'm not counting out that I won't find out more about some of these characters. So for now, it's just something I wanted to see more of, but I wouldn't call it a detriment. What is something I thought was unique about this story? Something I find in all her stories, and that is just how damn well she does a plot twist. I think almost all her books have some form of plot twist in them. And when they come up, it surprises you, but it does exactly what a plot twist is supposed to do. That you read it, and then you think back over the story, and you start looking for clues about this coming about, and you always find them. They're always there, and they're usually in plain freaking sight. That's really hard to do. But somehow she has consistently done it with every single book in this series. So I think the plot twist, it's something I'm always looking for, and yet I never find, and then when it pops up, I'm like, how did I not see it? So I really enjoyed that in this aspect. The other aspect I really like about this book, I will talk about in my psychological realism scale, but there is another aspect specifically about psychology that I really love in this book. So that being said, psychological realism scale. In this book, we deal with a lot of stuff. There's grief, there is self-discovery, there is what we call adjustment, which is basically where some aspect of your life has changed and you have to adjust. You have to form basically a new life. And I think it's all addressed very, very well. Adjustment's hard. People going through and trying to figure out who they are, what their purpose is. It's not an easy journey. It's not so much as, oh, I'm going to do this now because this is done. Doesn't work that way. Because even when we move on to some new aspect of our life, we kind of have to grieve what we're no longer doing, or people who are no longer in our life. And it's a hard process. Some people process it with alcohol, anger, some people withdraw, some people live in a denial bubble. But there's lots of different ways that people try to cope with it and process through it. And we get to see that here. We get to see Storm having to deal with this kind of stuff. But the main thing is self-discovery in this book. And I really think that it's done very well because you see Storm fluctuating. You see her considering, what if I'm wrong? What if it's this? What if it's that? And that's very realistic when people are trying to figure out who they are. It's not like movies and stuff usually show you, like where there's an epiphany. It's like, oh, this is who I am. It's a bunch of back and forth, like of discovering this, processing it, but then kind of second guessing yourself and going back and then back forward again. And so we see that back and forth throughout the book. And I think it's done very well because I don't usually see people tackle it like that, which I wish they would because it's more realistic. So I really enjoyed that aspect of the book. And like I said, I can't go into more detail about it because I don't want to give you guys spoilers, but that aspect's done very well. Grief. Like I said, grief's in this book and it's done very, very well. It's done very realistic. Because grief, when I usually see it in movies and books, it's, it's a period of mourning and then you're normal again. You're fine. That's not how it works. Grief is an ongoing process. And we call it a process because it always is a process. And I think that she does that really well here in that it's not a case of so much time passes and then you're fine. But she does tap into other people maybe asking that, asking someone to stop mourning and move on, when in fact, it's always a process you're working through. And so I enjoyed seeing that. So overall, psychological realism scale, 4 out of 5. Solid 4 out of 5. Story overall, 5 out of 5. Every time I think I can't like these books anymore, she comes up with a new one and I have to eat my words. So I'm not going to say that anymore. But as of right now, it's my favorite. So we'll see what the next book, which comes out in December, I believe, will deliver. I have a feeling it'll be my next new favorite. But as of right now, this is my favorite of the series. So thank you guys for chiming in. I hope this was helpful to you. This book, I believe, gets released on the 26th, Monday. So make sure you check out the link below and pick up a copy for yourselves. As always, if you guys want to not miss when I upload, make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you get notified whenever a new video goes up. I upload twice a week, once at the beginning, once at the end of the week. And if you guys have any books that you think that I might enjoy, drop them below. I love to check them out. I can't guarantee I always check out all of them, but I definitely will look into them. So until next time, you guys take care, stay safe, and have a good one.